Prince Harry is getting ready to travel all the way back to the country of England very soon. He wants to visit his old home in the United Kingdom because that is where he grew up. But there is a very big problem waiting for him there when he arrives. His father, King Charles, does not want to meet with him or talk to him at all right now. The king is staying away from Harry on purpose because he is very busy and maybe a little bit upset. Harry is making this very long journey across the wide ocean all by himself. He is not bringing his wife, Meghan, or his 2 young children with him on the plane. At the very same time, a person who works as a top editor for a big newspaper is fighting against Harry in a legal court of law. This person is very angry with Harry and wants to win the fight. People who watch the royal family very closely say that Harry is trying to get money from any place he can find it. They think he is very worried about having enough money to pay for his very expensive life in America. Harry is acting like he is in a lot of trouble, and he is looking for someone to help him pay all his big bills. He seems to be very lonely and stressed out during this difficult time. Prince Harry did something that really shocked many people all around the world. He sent his father, King Charles, a giant bill for $59 million. This was not a fake piece of paper or a silly joke for a laugh. It was a real list of things that Harry wanted his father to pay for with his own money. The paper was delivered to the king's home at Buckingham Palace early on a Tuesday morning while everyone was starting their day. It looked just like a bill you might get from a store for buying groceries or clothes. Harry acted like the king owed him this money for a big debt from the past. The most surprising and shocking part of the bill was a request for $17 million. Harry claimed that he lost this money in Hollywood where famous movies are made. He said that because of all the drama and fights with his royal family, he could not make as much money as a famous star in California. He was basically telling the king to pay him for a career that was not doing very well at all. This plan did not work out the way Harry wanted. It actually made Harry look very bad in front of the whole public, and it really hurt his reputation as a leader. I want you to try to picture this whole scene in your mind. It is very early in the morning on March 4th in the year 2026. A person who delivers important mail walks up to the giant, shiny gates of Buckingham Palace in London. He hands over a very important set of papers to the people who work there. Harry did not send a nice letter or a note saying he was sorry for his past mistakes and bad choices. He did not send an olive branch, which is a special sign that means you want to be friends again and stop fighting. Instead, he sent a cold bill for exactly $59 million. His workers in California wrote the bill and sent it straight to his father, the King of England. This was very strange because Harry had spent 4 long years telling everyone in the world how much he disliked the royal family. He moved to a completely different country and wrote a long book about all his family secrets. But now, he is asking that very same family for a giant pile of money. It was one of the most daring and bold things a royal person has ever done in modern history. Harry had a very specific reason for asking for so much money, but it was a very weird and confusing reason to most people. His team of workers explained that the royal family had stayed quiet for a very long time. Harry felt that his family should have done more to protect his name and his feelings. He thought they should have told the newspapers to stop being mean to him and his wife. Since the family did not do that, Harry felt he had to use his own money to fight back against the press. He spent a lot of his own time and his own energy trying to make the newspapers look bad in court. In his mind, the king and the crown owed him money for doing all that hard work. He did not think he was asking for a gift or for charity like a poor person might. He felt like he had done a dirty job that no one else in the family was willing to handle. He thought it was finally time for his father to pay the tab and give him every dollar he was owed. A lot of people thought that Harry's plan was very bold, but it also seemed very confusing and a little bit silly. When the king's helpers looked at the list of things Harry wanted money for, they were very surprised and shocked. It was not just for the money he paid to his lawyers. It was for every single thing Harry could think of to put on the paper. He wanted money to pay for the security guards who protected him when he visited the city of London. He wanted money to pay for his fancy private jets that fly him through the clouds. He even put a high price tag on how much his own time and his own effort were worth. The biggest shock was the $17 million he asked for because he felt he missed out on big jobs in Hollywood. He was asking his father to pay him for a job in the movie business that was simply not working out for him. It looked like Harry was just guessing big numbers and hoping his father would be nice enough to pay for everything in his life. He wanted the king to pay for his expensive house and his fancy travel. The bill arrived at the palace while King Charles was very busy doing his work as a leader. He was visiting a military base where strong soldiers train and work for the country. The king was not sitting around his house waiting for his son to call him on the phone. He was not looking at his messages hoping for a note from Harry. He was very busy doing his important job as the king. The timing of this was very important to everyone. It showed that the king had much more important things to do than worry about Harry's big bills and money problems. When the king saw the bill, he did not offer to pay even a little bit of it. He did not even ask for more details or more information. He simply said no in a way that was very cold and very firm. Harry was not acting like a person with power. He was acting like someone who was running out of money and feeling very scared about what would happen next in his life. He seemed desperate for help. When the details of the bill became public for everyone to read, people were amazed by how much money Harry was asking for. It was not just a little bit of money, it was a giant mountain of money. First on the list was $15 million for his lawyers. These are the people who help him talk to the judge in court, but much of their work was based on information that later turned out to be fake and made up. Then there was $12 million on the list. Harry wanted his dad to pay this money before he even finished his case in court. He wanted to make sure he had enough money to pay the newspaper if the judge decided that Harry was wrong. He also asked for $10 million as a special fee for his own honor. He decided all by himself that his reputation was worth that much money. He also wanted $5 million for his private guards and his private planes to keep him safe and happy. Finally, he asked for the biggest part, $17 million for the movie deals he did not get in America. He wanted the king to pay for his failing career as a famous star. He thought his father should make up for the money he did not earn. Usually, if a son asks his father for $59 million, the two of them might sit down and have a long talk about it. But King Charles did not want to talk to Harry at all. He gave a response that was very cold, very short, and very clear to everyone. He was at a military base when the bill arrived, which was a big sign. This showed that he was a busy king with a very big job to do for the people. He was surrounded by brave soldiers and important people in uniform. He wanted to show the whole world that he was the leader of the country and not just a father. He sent a message back to Harry saying that whatever Harry chose to do was his own responsibility. The king said that Harry made the choice to leave the royal family. Harry also made the choice to start these big fights with the newspapers by himself. Therefore, Harry had to be the person to deal with the results. The king was not going to help him with money or with anything else. He was on his own now. The message that came from the palace was very harsh and very mean. King Charles called Harry's whole plan a mission to destroy himself. This was a very tough thing for a father to say to a son, but the king was being very smart. He used Harry's own words from Harry's own book. He was turning Harry's words against him to show him how he was acting. This showed that the palace was being very careful with every word they spoke. They wanted Harry to understand that his actions had hurt the entire family. The king was not just saying, not right now or maybe later. He was saying that things had changed forever and there was no going back. He was closing the door on Harry and locking it tight. He was telling his son that there was no safety net to catch him if he fell down. Harry could no longer expect the royal family to pay for his big mistakes or his very expensive way of living. The king had drawn a line in the sand and he was never going to cross it. For a very long time, Harry had a man named Gavin Burrows who was supposed to be the person who would change everything. Harry's team told everyone that this man was a hero who knew all the dark secrets of the newspapers. Everyone thought this man would prove that Harry was telling the truth the whole time. But when it was finally time for the man to speak in front of the judge, he did something very shocking and very scary for Harry. He did not help Harry at all. Instead, he told the truth. He said that the evidence he gave to Harry's team was fake. He said he made it all up because he wanted to fit the story Harry wanted to tell. He also said that people who were friends with Harry promised him a big book deal and lots of money if he lied for them. This was a giant disaster for Harry and his lawyers. His main helper had just admitted that the whole case was built on lies. Harry was seen looking very scared and very upset while his whole plan fell apart in front of a room full of people. There was another big story that Harry had been telling for 20 years. He said that a newspaper used illegal spying and high-tech tools to find out secrets about him and his old girlfriend, Chelsea. He said they listened to his private phone calls while he was sitting around a warm campfire in the country of Africa. But then a famous reporter named Rebecca English told a completely different story. She said that no one was spying on Harry with tools or hackers. She said that a person who was in Harry's own group of friends was the one who called the newspaper to tell them the secret. This meant that a friend Harry trusted had betrayed him for money or attention. It was not a high-tech spy mission, it was just a person talking on the phone. This was very painful and sad for Harry to hear. He had spent many years blaming the newspapers for everything, but it turned out the real problem was coming from inside his own circle of friends. His trust was broken by the people he liked the most. If things were not already bad enough for Harry, his own family members were also turning against him in secret. He thought his cousins, Beatrice and Eugenie, were still on his side. He thought they were the only family members who still liked him and wanted to be his friend. But Princess Beatrice went to see the king and gave him something very important and very private. She gave him a collection of secret messages between Harry and his uncle, Prince Andrew. These messages showed that Harry and Andrew had a secret plan they were working on together. They wanted to pressure the king into giving them what they wanted. They thought that if they both caused a lot of trouble at the exact same time, the king would have to listen to them. Beatrice did not want to be part of this sneaky plan. She chose to be loyal to the king instead of being loyal to her cousin Harry. She gave away all of Harry's secrets to the king so she could protect her own future. This was a giant betrayal that Harry never saw coming. While all of this drama was unfolding in the city of London, Meghan Markle was very far away in the state of California. She was not there in England to hold Harry's hand or help him through this very tough and sad time. Usually, Harry and Meghan act like a strong team that does everything together. But this time, Meghan stayed away on purpose. She was busy having her own important business meetings in Los Angeles. She was working on her own projects like her new brand for lifestyle products and her own movies. People who know her say this was a very careful and smart choice. Meghan's helpers told her that Harry's court fights were costing too much money and making them both look bad. They did not want Meghan to be tied to Harry's failing reputation or his big debts. She wanted to build her own name so she could keep making her own money, even if Harry lost his big case. She was creating a lot of space between herself and Harry's big mess in England. She was looking out for her own future. At the end of the long week, Harry's big plan in London was a total failure. He wanted to win and show the whole world that he was a brave hero fighting for the truth. But instead, his main witness admitted that he had lied. A reporter proved that Harry's own friends were the ones who were telling his secrets to the newspapers. His father, the king, refused to pay a single dollar of his $59 million bill. His cousin Beatrice gave his secret messages to the king to get him in trouble. And his wife, Meghan, was busy working on her own life thousands of miles away. Harry made many choices that led him to this sad moment. It was not a machine or a system that failed him. It was the people he chose to trust and the plans he chose to follow. He had been very loud and very sure of himself, but now he was left with nothing but problems. The royal family moved on without him, and Harry was left standing all alone with a giant problem that he could not solve by himself. He had lost his money, his family, and his pride all at once.